In today's video, let us see system programming, unit 4 loader, the last topic we discussed with the algorithm. We already discussed with the data structures used, and we discussed with direct linking loader. So we had a drawback or a problem in a direct linking loader, that all the routines or subprograms should be loaded. So we have used another method because of that drawback. So that's the different methods of loading and linking. So we'll go one by one. Other loading schemes. So we have a disadvantage that gives a rise of a direct linking loader is nothing but a problem. We discussed with the 3 disadvantages that we need to know about, or we need to load everything. So that's what the main drawback. Then only we'll get the load address, right? To solve this, what we have done, loading scheme is divided into 2 processes or 2 separate processes. We have divided the loading scheme into 2 separate processes. That is, one is binder and modulo loader. So binder binds and loader loads. The name itself tells binder binds means linking will be done by the binder, and loader just simply load. Instead of doing both the things together in a direct linking, that relocation and linking is done together. Our LD gives me the information about the relocation and linking, which is performed using a direct linking loader. But it gives rise a problem because we are relocating and linking, we are doing together. Software will become huge. The capacity to store the in the main memory, the storage will be used more by the loader. So we have divided into 2 separate processes. That is what? Binder and modulo loader. What is binder? Binder is nothing but it's like a binding the subroutine, means linking. Same function what direct linking will perform, so same linking will be performed. Clear? Nothing but binding will be performed. And here, rather than placing linking, what directly will do, it will link in the main memory and it will start execution. Instead of that, what we have done, the linked program is loaded or stored as a file in a secondary memory and given to the loader, modulo loader, which loads one module after the another. Means linking is also done and linking of output is also stored in the secondary memory. So loader just loads it. Direct linking, what it was done, it was loaded everything, then linking was done. But here binder, linking will perform first and gives me the output. That is what binder perform all the linking operation and gives a linked executable ready-made program. And loader, that is what modulo loader, load that ready-made program for execution, direct execution. They again do linking. So that's what binder perform. Clear? So binder perform 3 essential functions, that is allocation, reallocation and linking. Allocation, reallocation, linking will be done by a binder, whereas loading, only the one task of a loading will be done by a modulo loading. Means we are divided. In a direct linking, we had combined all the tasks, allocation, reallocation and linking together along with the loader. But here we are separating that as a binder and modulo loader. So then modulo loader, what it will do, it just plays the linked program into the main memory. So again we reduce the software capacity of a loader. Loader just loads. Linking will be performed by your binder and it will link, and it only gives a linked program, and loader simply loads that program. So there are 2 classes of binding. Binding can be done in a 2 way. So that is, one is core image binder or builder and linkage editor. Core image binder means however you are loading, which memory you are loading, where you are loading in the main memory, in the same type you are creating a output, binded output. Binded means linked output. Means whatever, which section, what image of a section you are using in a core memory, in the same image, means same load address, same memory address, all were performed. Only you need to load that image to that particular location. Only it's a very simple and a fast task. Clear? So you can see that here nothing but single linked disk you will get. There is no object program, all the programs are linked. Clear? And here where it should be linked, where it should be bounded, where it should be placed, so it is performed the specific core allocation, the where in a memory 900, 400, whatever the main memory, where the address, in the same specific location allocation is performed, and it will get the actual how it was in the main memory, in the same memory, in the same format or image, it will gives the binder gives the output, so that it can be loaded as the same image as in a main memory. Means it's exactly as a core image binder. How in a core image, in a core program, means in a main memory, how the programs are loaded exactly in the same location, a binding is performed and given. It's simple. Loader, what is the work of a loader? You just load that image, nothing but that program as it is, and executes, no changes. But here second type is linkage editor. Linkage editor means here it gives the track of reallocation information. Means here linking, loading, everything, relocation, allocation, everything will be done. But when it gives to the linkage editor, again it will perform the allocation and reallocation, because it create a linked program. That program is loaded to main memory, means it is again separate memory. It is not loading to the same memory location. If it is a linked program is in a location 600, if it is loaded in a 900, then again changes, the address will change. Then when whatever the address is changed, that is performed using a linkage editor. So that is what a reallocation is performed in the loader. But in core memory, where if it is still if it is specified that it is in a 600 linked program, complete linking program, after the object program will get a linker will link the program. After that, if it is given to load in the same linking image, memory, then it is a core image binding. Means if it is told at 600, in the memory 600 only it is loaded. So again reallocation is not required, because all the memory address will be same. But here it will be given output, linked program will be given as in secondary memory as an output, and again it is loaded to the main memory. Then again memory change, then that reallocation is done by the loader, and it won't do about the linking is already done. Only loading concept will be done. So linker, loader we have separated as a binder and modulo loader. Yeah, so these are the two methods. These are 2 marks question. So other method, instead of direct linking which had a problem, we use a binder and the modulo. Direct question, what is binder, what is modulo loader, or we can have also ask us other loading scheme. So how your linkage will perform, linkage. So this is what a linkage editor, link and go. So how the execution of a link and go loader. So here whatever linkage editor, link and go, the name itself means here linkage editor will be in the main memory. Link and go, it will link and give in the main memory, there only it will execute. Yeah, it stores its load address, perform the linking operation, and control is passed to the execution. Means linking is done in the main memory, all the object program is taken, linkage editor link everything, and there only it will execute. Clear? So here this program should be coexist along with the program. So that's what the linking program should be in the main memory to link. Clear? Linking, and every time after execution when it come out from the main memory, again if you want to re-execute, again you need to call a linker program, and again you need to load everything, then linking will be performed in the memory, execution. It is just like a compile and go. Means every rerun linking is compulsory. It is not giving any linking output in a secondary memory. So every linking, it should be the linkage editor should be called every time. Yeah. So these are the drawbacks. So we went with the link, load and go scheme. Nothing but here program, whatever the object program, it will be taken by the linkage editor, and it link all the files and gives a secondary and store in the secondary memory. So it's a linked program. It is called as a phase library. All the programs are linked and it is stored in the secondary memory. That program we call it as a phase library, and it will just load to the memory. So this is what, however it is there in the same location it is loading. So it is performed by the absolute, no relocation is required. All the linking will be done, and it will be in the ready-made program format. It will just simply load to the memory. That is what absolute loader. So that is link, load and go scheme. Link, then store, then load and execute. Link, load, go scheme. Clear? So you can see that here memory requirement is less, because linking will be performed and stored in the main memory. Only task is loading. So loading does not have a much memory requirement, loading program. Clear? Because you can see that memory requirement is less, because editor construct a ready-made program and store in a secondary memory. That is called as a phase memory, phase library. Clear? And loader simply load. So this is called as absolute loader, who simply loads according to the linked. What is the linked program, phase library given, in the same way it is loaded. So again reallocation is not required. Yeah. So here what is the loader will be get? Loader will be the ready-made program. Ready-made program is all the linked program, formatted will be given, which is called as a phase. It is called as a phase. All the linking, all the sub programs all linked, that ready-made program is given to the loader, so that is called as a phase library program. Here it also given with the length of the first word wherever you are loading, that is what the memory, base memory, and length of the each module, so that it can allocate. So 3 things it should have. So this is this type of a loading is very simple, because absolute loader don't want any extra software specification, because the only task is just to load the phase memory. So the loader has very few machine instructions, because this loader has to load. It is not doing reallocation, it is not doing linking, nothing. Absolute loader is very less memory consuming software, which is storing the ready-made program, that is called a phase, into the main memory. So here every supervision is done by the operating when you are getting the absolute loader, because it's a simple scheme of loader, clear. So which is loading the system component wherever the phase library you are programmed into the main memory, clear. But whenever you go for the absolute loader, if there are multiple subprogram, then it is necessary to know all the addresses, all the subprograms addresses. We used to remember that start 400, start 100 and square root 400 example are done in absolute loader. We need to remember all the address of a subroutine. So that's what the main drawback of absolute loader, because we are loading as it is, then there is no changes in the address. The address should be known to the program, because we cannot load to any other available location. We need to load to same location. So address are maintained at the beginning. So that's what the main drawback of a absolute loader. Yeah. So these are the two different types of a linking using a linkage editor, and these 2 type of separate classes of bindings, as well as there are 2 separate programs. There is nothing but a binder and the modulo binders. So next, with this drawback, we went with the next topic, that is called as dynamic loading. What happen if dynamic loading? So dynamic loading means it is calling or the loading is performed only after it is called. Yeah, so to implement this, we use a structure called overlay. In operating system, we already discussed overlay is nothing but mutual. It's a very small area where large number of program can execute. A memory program can large program which required a memory, large memory can be executed in a small area. So nothing but here you have a very small area where you load one program. After execution, you call another program, then you will erase this and rewrite in the same memory. So one large program can run in a very small area. Overlay we already discussed in your operating system, yeah, which gives the mechanism called mutual exclusion. Whatever you want, load to the main memory, execute, after that remove, again load with the other. So I require only small memory. Instead of loading all in a small memory, I can run. That is what mutual exclusion. One is executing, then other cannot enter. So that structure, that property can be encrypted or developed using overlay structure. Yeah, so what is this overlay structure? It's an attractive solution, clear, where only one desire, where you have a programs are run in a form of a program overlays. Then what is this overlays? Overlays is a small section of, clear, where a small section of a program is occupied in that section, clear. So overlay structure is nothing but it refers to as a overlay structure program, which consists one small portion of memory where you will store a main program, which is called as a root, and all the subprograms is called as a set of overlays. So first what it will do, to the start you will load the, in a small area we will load the root program. After execution, while root calls some other program, then the same we will remove in the same memory location, the portion of memory what is given for the overlay structure. We rewrite the called function on that and execution start. That's what the override the new program, called program on the previous storage, clear. Then after execution, again if it calls some other program, then this is removed and the new program is written on that storage. So this is how the execution task. In a small area we can load n number of larger size program and we can execute. Yeah, so that's what the overlay. Secure operating system, we discussed that. So in a small area running a large program is called overlay structure. We'll have very small area where first the main program will be loaded. After execution of a main, in the calling function is there, then called function is overwritten in the same location. After execution, it will again leave the control back. Again, if you have any call function or a return function, again it is overlay. Instead of using the huge memory, we are just using a small memory to run a program. Clear? So we have an example. So consider your example. So this overlay structure is required. This is given or specified by link command. We discussed that linker gives the object load address, right? So while loading, whether loading is in the form of overlay, then that structure specification is given with the link command. Yeah. So we'll go with an example. There is a 6 section example, 6 subprograms we have in a one program. That is, first one is int, second is a read, third one is a transaction A, transaction B, transaction C, and print. So first what it is, the root is initialization, then reading. After that, it may call transaction A, B, C, any program. These are the subprogram, called program. This is the main program. After calling, after execution, print is called to print the result. So that is what the happening. So how the overlay structure will be. If we are not using a overlay structure, then we want, so initial 10K for initial program, read program again 5K, transaction A use 15 minus 35, that is what the 20K, transaction B use 15, right, transaction C use 10, and print use 5. So total it requires 0 to 65 if I go with the overlay. Then we will call the initial program and read program 15, then read and write program. After that, which function I call? Write in the sense print program. Before going to print, which function I'll call? If I call transaction, only this is 40K is loaded. If it is transaction B, 35K is loaded. If it is transaction C, 30K is loaded. So any program, again it will run in the write, that is what the print program. Instead of loading all the three, which is called, only that much it is read. So maximum requirement is 40K instead of 65. 0, 10, 15, 20, 35 or 30, sorry 40, 35, 40, 30. So maximum for transaction A is 40K. If it is only transaction B, then 35K is enough memory. If it is transaction C, then 30K is memory. So only within the 40 memory, very small memory, we have executed a very large program of 60K. It's kilobyte, clear? So that's what the overlay structure. One more example we have. So that's what we have. One more example. Consider there are 5 subprograms, that is A, B, C, D, E, which require 100 kilobyte to execute. Yeah. So 100 total required is 100. 20, 20. A required 20K, B 20K, C 30, D 10, and E 20K. So total 100K is required to execute. Means larger program memory is used. Let us see that subprogram is called, how the programs are called. A called only B, C, B, D, E. It is not calling C. And B is called C, E. It is not calling A. It is not calling D. And D calling only E. And the subprogram E, C calling C and E, not called any other routine. C and E won't call. Clear? Here calling function is A, B and D, whereas C and E doesn't call any function. Clear? So when A program is loaded, then chance of B, D, E is called. We are not calling here C. When subprogram B is loaded, only C and E called, no other. If D is loaded, then only E is called, not the other. Clear? So we will see how the overlay can be. So the procedure B and D are not used at the same time. The condition continue that B and D we won't use same time. If A calls, then B and D can't be taken as same time. Clear? Once we need to call B or D. I can't call together. I can call E, but B, D I can't call together. And similarly, C and E are not used at same time. Whenever B calls C and E, either it should call C or it should call E. Means again, in this we have dynamic loading. AB is loaded, D is loaded first. A can call B, D, E, but it cannot call B and D simultaneously. So there is again dynamic loading. Here also B is calling C and E dynamically, but not together. Clear? C cannot and E cannot be used simultaneously. Clear? Then actual requirement, the memory requirement will be, what are those? Out of 5, if I load A, I can reach BDE. So I will load A. If I load B, I can reach CE. All the 5 segments I will use. If I load D, I can call E. So out of 4 here, D I can reach from A, D and E I can reach. Yeah, right. And using A, B I can reach C also. Right. So the maximum structure requirement is A 20 plus B, which is 20, and C 30. Clear? Only 3 programs. That is nothing but 20 plus 20 plus 30, 40 plus 30, 70. With the help of a 70K, I can write the entire program where it was required 100 kilobytes, where I within a 70 kilobyte I can run the program, because A can call DE, clear? B can call E, C, D can call E. Clear? So with the 70 I can run 100K program. So that's what the overlay structure. So this is how you can see that if I load with AB 20, B can call C and D. So a root, if I just load 20, I can run entire program. From that I can call B, from that I can call C. Or A directly call E, or directly it can go for the D and E. So this was the second structure of a overlay. So you can see this is the allocation where A required 20, B and D called by A, where it cannot be loaded simultaneously, where B take only 20 and D take only 10 bytes. So that's what the half 10 byte is removing over there. Here also C takes 20 byte, E takes only 10 bytes. So remaining are free. Instead of 100, within a 60 I am completing all the program execution. Clear? So this type of execution, the modular loads the procedure as and when they needed. This is also as and when they are needed. Clear? Then the binders we have, it is called as, it have the ability of having the overlay structure. Then this only loads or bind when it called. Until that it is not bind, or they won't load to the main memory. Then that procedure is called as overlay supervisor or a flipper. That type of a loader we call it as overlay supervisor. It works on the basis of overlay. So that loader we name it as a overlay supervisor or a flipper or a dynamic loader or load on call. So these are the different name given to overlay structure dynamic loading scheme loader. Clear? So we can call it as a overlay loader, overlay supervisor, or a flipper, or a dynamic loading, or a load on a call, local. Clear? These are the different names given for the dynamic loading scheme. So last topic, dynamic linking. So we already discussed dynamic loading. If dynamic loading means the structure will be in the terms of a overlay, whichever is called, only that will be loaded. So that is what overlay structure. And here memory is also used less. When we come across with the dynamic loading, then dynamic linking also developed. It's also called as dynamic binding. So in a overlay structure we discussed that binding will be done only on a call. If called, then binding will be done. When if called, only that time binding is doing means it is a dynamic linking. Yeah. So the disadvantage of a loading scheme, that is what a direct loading means. All the programs should be loaded. But we have developed, that is what dynamic loading. Here all the subroutines won't be loaded at a time. We can see that if A is loaded, after that B is loaded. If B called D, then only it will load, else it won't load. Then C is loaded. If it called, then only it will load the other subprogram, else it won't. But in direct linking, we need to load every program so that we'll get all the address. Then we start to linking. But dynamic loading eradicated that problem of direct linking loader, right? So when we have dynamic loading capacity, then we can have a dynamic linking capacity. So the disadvantage of a loading scheme, that all the subroutines should be loaded. Clear? that can be reduced, that is replaced using a dynamic loading. When there is a dynamic loading, then again the overhead of linking has been developed. So to remove this, we have developed the dynamic linking. What is dynamic linking? Dynamic linking means here loading and linking scheme mechanism is postponed until the time of execution. During execution only loading, means on a call only program will be loaded. After loading, linking will be done. Before loading, linking won't be done. Like a linkage, link and go, linkage editor will perform. It will link everything. After that, it will give you a phase library. After that, you are loading. No such things, because we have dynamic loading option. When dynamic loading came, the procedures loaded only after a call. So if it is loaded only after a call, then the address will be we are getting that address only after it loaded to main memory. When you get the address, then only you can go for linking. So here loading dynamic, then linking also should perform dynamic. So here dynamics means, this is 2 marks question, loading and linking are postponed until the execution time. Clear? Means here whatever the binding, reallocation, whatever the information your assembler produce, it will be given to the loader. Loader will start loading every program. It will load only the main program. After loading, if there is any call for a external address, at that time loader will call that segment, and only that whenever the segment is loaded, it containing the external reference will be loaded, then the linking will perform for that external reference. So this is what dynamic linking. Clear? In dynamic linking, what happened? After dynamic loading and linking will be performed. So whenever a main program is loaded and it calls this subprogram, that time the subprogram is dynamically loaded. After loaded, we will get the address of that external reference, then linking will be performed. That is called as dynamic linking or dynamic loading. So the advantage of this is, here overhead is less because we are postponing till the end. We are not loading all the subprograms. Definitely some of the core functions may not be called only, then simply loading wastes the memory, and allocating all the address, preparing your GEST is a waste of the time. So the overhead will be less, and here we are doing dynamic configuration, reconfiguration, nothing but memory utilization is less. But disadvantage is it is postponed until the execution, means during execution overhead is more, because it should search, then it should link. First it should call dynamically local, that is load on a call. After that it should get the address, after that linking. So loading scheme become little bit complex, and here overheads are more, because here all the tasks are postponed until for the execution time. Till that it is not loading or linking any of the programs. So if we get a ready-made linked program, then better, just load and execute, it will be very fast. But if we postpone that loading, linking things till the last, that is what during execution, then overhead will be very high, because we need to perform all the binding process during the time of an execution. If something goes wrong, then execution will be interrupted. So this is what the dynamic loading, dynamic linking advantage, disadvantage. So this is 2 marks question, what is dynamic binding or dynamic loading, or 5 marks question, the complete advantage and the disadvantage. So this is what overlay structure. If you have a dynamic loading, then you are using overlay structure. We are not using complete storage. We are just using a storage for those subprogram which is called, and we are not, definitely we won't call all the programs simultaneously. So whenever one program is called, we can execute. After that it can be taken out and new program can be run, so that it use only less storage compared to the other schemes. So this is what loader. This, if you read once, you can understand, it is easy. Read the textbook. Due to these circumstances, we can't go with the chalk and talk method. So analyze the video, understand, read the textbook, have textbook while watching the video, so that you can have a connection between the explanation and the textbook matters. Yeah. So that ends unit 4, that is what loaders. Only one unit compiler is left out, which is easy, you know compiler. So we'll see in the next video. Thank you.